This is more disturbing, and I can't believe it got overturned. And I've done this in my 20s. I didn't think I'd have to do it again in my 50s. So
this by itself is a terrible, terrible moment in American history.
I definitely cried in my office today.
Roe v. Wade was just overturned, and I'm here in Washington Square Park in New York City on the scene of the biggest protests in the area. People are flooding in every minute. The crowd grows by about 20%. Pretty soon, I think that the park is going to be full. There's a lot of screaming, a lot of cheering, a lot of signs. Let's see what they're all about.
My boss definitely voted for Trump, and I used all of their resources, their printer, their paper, everything, to make these posters. I did no work today. I only made the posters.
How are you feeling when you received the news?
Very, very terrible and sad. I felt very compelled to not sit in my house. I definitely cried in my office today.
Do you think you're going to be able to keep working for him?
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see how things go. It is a hard question. Actually, when I got the news this morning, the first thing I did was call my grandmother. She talked about how people who have been trying to end our right to abortion have been doing it since we got it. They've been working at this for 50 fucking years.
Right now, they're chanting, "No justice, no peace."
this is more disturbing, and I can't believe it got overturned. I've done this in my 20s. I didn't think I'd have to do it again in my 50s. So
What was it like in your 20s?
we were just trying to keep it legal, and it was already legal. I did a lot of marches to keep it there. There was more outcry then than there is now, and we weren't as polarized as we are now.
What do you think in society caused the polarization?
Trump and his appointees, they had the majority after he did his appointments.
And where were you protesting when you were 20?
Washington, D.C. I went to 4 marches. Helen Reddy sang. Now was a very active organization. They were more organized than they are now.
Last question. Oh my goodness.
Shit, it's my cousin.
Oh, hi.
So obviously I don't agree with the Supreme Court ruling overturning Roe versus Wade. It's infringing on the rights of 50% of the American population. I'm a veteran. I swore to defend the Constitution of the United States of America. To me, that about protecting the rights of the American citizens. Are we going to overturn same-sex marriage? Are we going to overturn Obergefell versus Kuechly? Like, all of that is a slippery slope that I'm scared of, because this by itself is a terrible, terrible moment in American history. The Supreme Court violating basic premises of what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to respect case precedent, and they're completely ignoring that. The next one will be horrible. So I came out to protest what I think is the destruction of the Constitution.
How has being a veteran affected your protesting?
It's my duty as a veteran because I have that oath, and I think that this is a violation of that Constitution.
When did you decide to come out here today?
I saw what was going on. I knew there'd be all kinds of demonstrations around, so I came down to Union Square, and as we can see, there's a convergence.
Have you been to protests in New York before?
Absolutely, yes. Decades.
How have they changed over time?
I would say they're more of the wildcat type, especially with the Black Lives, the marches for Black Lives. People got out on the streets, and that's very effective.
As somebody who's been involved with numerous amounts of protests over the years, do you feel like you've been listened to?
Yes, actually I do. It's a long game. Don't expect results right away, but it does move things, and we've actually had big wins on some issues. For example, getting high volume fracking for gas banned in New York State. That was a years-long campaign.
Free state abortion for all. Free state abortion for all.
I'm scared for women who especially don't live in the states that are banning abortion. Feels like we're moving backwards.
Have you guys protested before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter protests and
Yeah, same.
the women's march, like after Trump was elected.
Did any of this come as a surprise to you?
No.
A little bit, but now I'm at the point where I'm just like nothing surprises me anymore.
Do you guys feel listened to?
Not usually, no.
No, I feel like, we march, we protest, and it doesn't seem like there's any real progress.
I think that all women just need to know that they're safe. They can find somewhere that they can do this legally. They're not trapped, so that's the most important thing to come out of it.
As a man, I just know that I'm with you and I'm here, and hopefully this will all be made right.
Do you have a message for men specifically?
Yeah, you could always be more of an ally. We're privileged as men, and we have to be just there for women, as they've been for us forever.
How do you think we can institute change?
At this point, and especially today, I am not feeling very solution-oriented. I want to let myself sit with the feelings that I've been having today, and I'm not really thinking about what solutions there are as of right now. I think that there's a period of time where people have the right to be upset, and then we can start talking about solutions. But I don't work in politics, So I would like to have people who do come up with the solutions and just informing myself on what those people are saying, keeping up to date on what the people who actually are making the decisions are saying and doing.
Yeah, I've really thought about this. Just showing up when, I don't know, just showing up, I think, is the...
I think we have to change the Supreme Court. We can't keep it majority right, because every law will start to be overturned, and it shouldn't be a lifetime appointment. It should be a regular job-sized appointment, and you have to be reevaluated every few years like everybody else who's working.
Is there anything you think we can do concretely to get the Supreme Court changed?
I think we need to protest. We start small, start local, get your local candidates, vote for them. The system's going to be hard to change. The whole electoral system's broken, in my opinion. It should be one person, one vote. 60% of this country want abortion. So why this happened is showing that the right has too much power.
I mean, people got to vote and get out there, obviously. That's the number one thing. Talk to your local politicians.
She really hit the nail on the head with that one. We keep marching, but we can't, I guess, take our foot off the gas. Just keep fighting.
If we want to get it back, we have to do the very same thing that they did. Keep lobbying, keep voting.
I don't know, I'm more
Don't quit.
pessimistic. I don't know, I think we should start our own country. I think we can do it.
If you're pessimistic, why did you still make all the signs?
Because I felt like it was the only thing that I could do today. I've already raised like $200 just from suggested donations. I've only given out like 10 signs. I think people have a lot of will, and I don't think people have a lot of direction.
Do get involved, make your voice heard, and don't forget to vote. Voting helps, and just being active.
Right now, we need legislators. Over 50% of the population does support abortion rights, and we need legislators to stand up and actually fight. It might not be popular in some places, but we need legislators to do their jobs now. We need federal legislation, not just at the state level, because as we see, all these states that had this legislation that's going to go into effect within the next 30 days, they were ready for this at the state level. We need federal legislators to actually come together and guarantee this right to the American people.
My biggest concern with this protest is that nothing will come of it. There wouldn't be things people can do to take this protest and make something out of it. Everybody just wants immediate gratification, and I think that the political system needs to modernize, to move quicker, because in its current state, I think it only sows issues. Like it took 50 years to overturn Roe v. Wade, it might take another 50 years to flip it again, and that's going to be 50 years of more discourse, more issues, more protests. That taxi guy just yelled at us to read the Bible. I'm scared America's going to crack because the political system can't move quickly enough for what people want. I don't think that the way our political system is designed works for the way our brains are currently wired. A lot of people here know what to do, they know to vote, they know it's going to take a long time. More people don't know that it'll take a long time and aren't used to spending their whole lives fighting for something and getting it once at the very end. For someone like me who's 24, if I fight for an issue for 50 years, I wouldn't really care about getting an abortion because I can't have kids at that point. Let's see where America goes.